Hello, Coolers. Welcome back to Viva Barca and welcome to another interesting episode where we discuss on some interesting updates. We start with Vitor Roque as Barca are set to register Vitor Roque in place of Gavi in January as La Liga have given their approval. We are going to discuss on that as we progress. Secondly, talking about Ferran Torres who recently had an interview where he talks about Barcelona, Manchester City, and Pep Guardiola. We're also going to discuss more on that. So, as we get right into it in much detail, please do ensure to subscribe if you haven't. If you're just coming across the channel for the very first time, you're so much welcome. Consider liking the video and please watch right up to the end. Faced with a difficult choice with regards to Vitor Roque ahead of the January transfer window, FC Barcelona have already made a decision regarding the matter. According to Mundo Deportivo, Barca had been waiting to receive the 40 million euros they had pending from Libero for the sale of 9.8% of the shares in Barca Studios to register Roque in January. But the long-term absence of Gavi, who will be sidelined for a minimum of 8 months and will therefore miss the rest of the season, had opened up a new scenario. So, which therefore means Barca will unregister Gavi and add Roque. Barca were told that they can use the salary space freed up by Gavi to register Vitor Roque in the winter window. La Liga has approved that Barca can bring Roque in January using 80% of the salary released by Gavi, and as such, that is exactly what the Catalans planned doing. As per the report, Barcelona will bring in Roque on loan until the end of the season, and once the campaign is over, they would have generated enough fair play to be able to register him under his original contract, which he signed until 2031. This would essentially mean that Gavi will now be unregistered from La Liga until next season when he will be able to play again after recovering from his ACL injury. By that time, Barcelona hope to register his new first team contract through proper channels instead of relying on the precautionary measure from the court that they obtained earlier this year. Roque has recovered fully from his injury and is closing in on a return. The 18-year-old, in all likelihood, should be able to hit the ground running should Barcelona follow through with this plan and register him in January. So, what about a replacement for Gavi? There had been a lot of talk about Barcelona wanting to sign another midfielder in January to, cope with the absence of Gavi. The technical staff considers the incorporation of an interior midfielder necessary after Gavi's injury. But the sporting management sees the arrival of Vitor Roque as more urgent. With the return of Pedri and Frankie de Jong, plus Fermin Lopez and the youngsters who are in the reserve team, the Catalans believe that there are enough players to cover the loss of the 19-year-old rising star. However, in the event that they manage to pay the 40 million euros from Libero, Barcelona do not rule out the possibility of a midfielder arriving. Of course, each and every passing day, we keep talking about the plans for the upcoming January transfer window, especially after Gavi's unfortunate ACL tear. Barcelona have been contemplating how they can go about the January window, and a lot of dilemma talking about will they bring another midfielder to replace the injured Gavi, or Vitor Roque will come, and of course there will be no chance for another player. We have been talking about this ever since, and The way things are going right now, Vitor Roque to join Barca is very much possible, as yesterday La Liga finally approved that Barca can go ahead with bringing in Vitor Roque, but Barca will do so on a loan move, on a loan move, and will make it permanent at the end of the season. And of course, we all know that's all just tactic to ensure that Vitor Roque is incorporated without financial fair play limitations. Of course, we have a lot of depth, to be honest, in midfield, and I don't see it necessary for Barca to go out there to look for a new midfielder. By the way, it's going to be just so risky for us because if Vitor Roque is to join, as it is widely expected now, then bringing in a new midfielder might just make matters more complicated. Of course, we have seen Deco and Laporta in recent interviews saying that they don't see any replacement for Gavi coming, as Gavi has no replacement. The squad have strength in midfield, and I don't see why there should be any urgency in that regard. So for Vitor Roque, I think we should be happy because La Liga have approved, and of course, there is more likelihood that he would don the Barca jersey from next year, January onwards. Then on to the next story of discussion with a long international break finally nearing its end. The focus is now shifting back onto club football as Barca prepare to dust off their shaky form lately and put in some winning performances. In a casual interview with the Y Project, Ferran Torres shines a light on recent dealings at Barca and the stories behind his move to the club and his time with Man City. The Spaniard has enjoyed a rather impressive start to this season, wearing his new shark mentality on his shoulders, which is reflecting in his performances, with 5 goals and an assist with an overall positive outlook. There is no better feeling than when you see the ball hitting the net and you know you scored the goal. I am addicted to scoring goals, Ferran said with a smile. In this interview, Ferran walked through his journey as a kid becoming professional footballer and all the developments he had to make along the way to become a player he is now. When I started playing football, I started playing as a fullback. I started playing football at my school at the age of 6, and the next year, Valencia called me to do some tests. I did well, and I joined the academy. He then continued to talk about the pressures of this sport and how overbearing they can become, even from a very young age, he said. People don't give us time to be young. It seems that in your first year you can make your mistakes, but from the second year you have to do everything and lead your team to everything. There are processes that you have to follow because if you skip it, it can go wrong. I am 23 years old. Yes, I have spent 6 seasons in professional football and I am still young, he added. Ferran continued along same lines, also discussing the role of mental health in the sport, which continues to be a hot topic. He said, mental health shouldn't be a topic you can't talk about. It's very important to talk about that. We players are in something very big, subjected to the media spotlight all the time. We don't even have time to get to know ourselves. So, guys, with that, we have come to an end of this episode. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, bye bye.